The Sports Ball Stuff podcast is brought to you by What Lola Wants. Go to WLWPrivateChefs.com for information to reserve top quality chef and restaurant services in the Chicagoland area. Pulpery Media presents Sports Ball Stuff with your hosts, Brock and Ben. This is where we discuss the major sports stories that intrigue us and the little stories that enrage
Brian
us.
Kelly can fuck
Go Tigers.
all the way off. This motherfucker.
Don't
needs
worry,
to
you
be
all are
shot.
22nd in the playoff rankings.
Good. We should be 60th. This motherfucker needs to be shot out of the galaxy. How the fuck? He's like Kirk Cousins of college football head coaches. This cocksucker cannot win a game that matters. He won episode 1 first game of the season to a team that is clearly not any good. Your team comes out completely flat on national television.
Oh, was that against USC?
In Vegas.
Yeah.
With a team that was pretty hot last year and shit the bed, right?
Yeah.
Then you used your fucking magic by winning the next games, right? Lost to Texas A&M. Oh, Texas A&M is really good. Again, this is the second high-profile game.
Correct, yeah.
Texas pretty good. You were on the road. Okay, it's okay. No. You get 2 weeks to prepare for the biggest game of the season. Should have been your fucking Super Bowl. And you came out limp-dicked like you were
it was
sleepwalking.
bad. It was bad.
Like in the blink of an eye, you were down 3 touchdowns before the first. You gave up 150 yards rushing in the first quarter. How the fuck are you in charge of a big school in the SEC? How the fuck does this man have a job?
It is.
How? He can recruit is all I hear that is like
He's
a
not even
pro.
that good at it. Because if he was that good of a recruiter, Notre Dame would have had a couple of national championships by now.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
I'm just saying,
What is he
like,
good at? When I say he is a worse Les Miles, that is saying something. And he is.
I mean, like, Les Miles has a ring. Like, he was able... Now, granted, I mean, some of those were still Saban recruits, but he's still...
matter.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
And again, he was bad.
Yeah.
He was good for a loss and a half every single year.
Right.
Brian Kelly?
But you were always in it for the SEC championship.
No. This motherfucker loses 3.5 games a year. 1 non-conference to what turns out to be a pretender, and 2 in conference.
I mean, there's... Again, I mean, there's...
He lost a game
night
in Tiger Stadium
Yeah.
against your fucking arch rival, not named Ole Miss.
Right.
The SIP.
The year that your, the Sith Lord is gone, right? The first year that Saban's not there, that's what everybody said was like the problem. He can't beat Saban. He can't beat Alabama.
No, he can't beat a top 5 football team.
Well, no, but like Alabama's always we lost the national championship to Alabama,
And he's lost all 3 years. No.
and each meeting against Alabama he's lost.
Correct, because Burrow.
I mean, I'm just saying,
That was before Brian Kelly.
Yeah,
Burrow
that was
Coach
yeah.
O. Yeah, he's trash. I fucking hate him. Let's move on.
I mean, it was, again, I can't have a conversation about him without going back to his Notre Dame years. And when he snuck out at night, it wasn't this, out of Notre Dame, it wasn't this like, oh shit, what do we do? It was like, thank God.
Fuck you for leaving in the middle of the night.
It was
you
don't have to put us in any bind.
The silence was deafening when we hired him. That's all I need to say. Let's move on.
No.
No.
I love it too much.
You know what?
I love it too much. Well, no,
when you have a 4th and 1 in a critical play and you a shotgun, what amounts to a lateral to a wide receiver, So he's catching the ball a second or two after the ball is hiked. So everybody knows. And then he's still got to make up 6 yards.
Well,
and it wasn't a screen. It was one of those, what do they call that? Bubble screens? Fuck him.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
No,
fuck you.
I was going to, the part that I find like really funny now is, and this is to transition into me talking about Notre Dame.
That's fine.
So Marcus Freeman, who took over Notre Dame after Kelly, is in his 3rd year.
Correct.
And like particularly after the Northern Illinois loss,
what week was that?
2.
It happened early. I said that
yeah.
when it happened.
Well, and I'll come back to that in a second. But coming into this year, the national press was going, microscopes on Marcus Freeman, just Notre Dame stick with him, blah, blah, blah. But you don't hear that about, say, Brian Kelly. And I get it because he signed to a 10-year contract.
I read articles from, Finnenbaum and, like, everybody, all the SEC heads.
Yeah.
Exactly, fuck him. And all the LSU heads. And they're like, does this mean anything other than, like, it sucks? Like, no.
But
he's not going anywhere.
To juxtapose the two, and I'm going to say, quote, head coaches, because what Marcus Freeman is doing at Notre Dame is he has, and it's been documented, he has like frequent meetings with people like Nick Saban, Bill Belichick.
I heard that one of the games that I was
all
watching.
About he's wanting to build the system.
Right.
Because he understands, like, when Notre Dame was Notre Dame, they had, it was, I mean, again, back then it was like if you were Catholic and you were a good football player.
You went to Notre Dame?
Yeah.
It's funny how European soccer teams do the same thing. Countries do the same thing. It's not necessarily about the head coach or X's and O's. It's the system.
Correct.
The organization, the vibe.
And so, like, Freeman's not calling plays. He is a motivator. And,
it sounds like the same.
And you put him side by side with Kelly. Kelly still yells. He turns red every game. Marcus Freeman is cool as a motherfucking... Even in that Northern Illinois loss.
No, he was fine.
And, of course, none of it was... When he takes a loss, we didn't plan properly. When they win, my boys did an amazing job.
He does. He always has that same
he is
stoic, not robotic, but just.
Well, no, I mean, he gets passionate, but he gets.
That's what I'm saying. But
he gives credit to his players, and like, when they fuck up, he takes the blame.
He's like the federal cherry. She's like,
no. Yeah.
That's him.
But like on camera, he's very even keeled. You see him around his players.
Right.
If they do bad, teachable moment. If they do well, he's like Rizzy. He's in their face, like pumping them up,
tearing hamstrings. I love the teachable moment.
So like now, like when they're going like, well, what's
they're going to make
the
playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, they got a pretty easy schedule.
I mean, it's Stanford, USC. They just beat Florida State, so they should have 2 games left.
3 actually, I think.
Oh no, I'm missing the Army. No, that happened already.
Yeah, no, we have fuck. Why is it not coming up? Excuse me. We play Virginia next.
Okay.
Then Army. We played Navy. We beat Navy.
Okay, Army was the one.
Yeah, although I do like it, Army and Navy actually being valid again.
Yes.
But
that only helps.
We could knock off 2 of the armed forces this year.
Correct.
And then we end up at USC. And
they're trash. They beat LSU.
Right. But that's also one where we can't sleepwalk into that game like we did Northern Illinois. But
you could be the 3 seed.
But in the end, like all these sports writers who were like, 3rd season, if they don't produce something, but I'm just saying, like, even if by chance Notre Dame misses the playoffs, they're not firing Marcus Freeman because he's building a positive, amazing culture.
Imagine.
Yeah, I know. But I mean that frankly you really haven't had since Lou Holt. probably though going back to era Parsegian is really what we're talking about. Like somebody who's like,
that is deep cuts.
right? Yeah, is that somebody who's actually like you come in and it's like you're not just about playing football. You're about elevating the school and the culture.
That's what Les Miles was good at.
Yeah,
he was really, really good at that.
Yeah.
Coach O was just all about go Tigers. He was sentimental, but you
and the money.
You go back to that, like right. And Saban didn't give a fuck, and whatever.
Yeah, that was I mean, that had to be a tough pill to swallow. Like he leaves for the Dolphins, fucks up in the NFL, and then goes to Alabama, and then goes on a run.
That
hurt.
Yeah, but it also, that's typical shit.
Yeah.
That's LSU.
Well, and I still remember when Jerry DiNardo was your coach. So.
Yeah, thank you. I was like, not all right, real quick. Last thing. So Tyson and
Jake Paul
and one of the Paul brothers, the one who doesn't wrestle, get to fight this Friday.
Yeah.
Where are they fighting? In Vegas?
I would assume so.
One of the things.
I don't know. Yeah.
All right. As two guys that grew up watching Mike Tyson absolutely murder people on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
What I hope is Tyson takes this as his swan song of like, I want to remind people of what I was.
All the training I've seen, and again, this is, each team's propaganda, but he seems motivated.
Yeah. Well, because, I mean, like, remember there was that stretch, and I said it during that, where, like, whether it was Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, like, they all had to go through him, and he was a shadow of himself. Mm-hmm. Like, court cases, figuring out his private life. He's in a really good spot now, which is, like, the last time he was in a really good spot, he was
with Gus.
Yeah, he fucking murdered people. He was
humiliating human beings.
Yeah.
He was getting people to pay $50 to watch 18-second fights.
Well, and that's what I'm curious. I would need to go back and look at some of Paul's fights, but I don't think Paul's met an inside fighter like Tyson is.
No, like he's fought guys because he's a big guy.
Right, he's tall. Yeah, he's got but that was Tyson's bread and butter. Was
you're fucking right.
He'd get inside and then do that uppercut.
If he got under your reach, you were done. Game over.
Yeah.
Fuck it. And he knew it. He was probably thinking it in his head.
The Spinks brothers still remember that.
Ryan McNulty.
Yeah.
Was that the Italian guy who came? What was who came out and was like, I'm gonna. He talked all that shit and got. 86.
Well, and that's what Holyfield and Lewis were able to do, was that they kept him away with their jabs.
Right.
And then they just worked the points.
Yeah.
But that was always the problem. Like, yeah, these people who were like, this kid ain't shit, and then you start trying to do your haymakers. He weasels his way in, and then bam, done.
Game over.
Yeah.
And you probably have CTE.
And again, Tyson comes from a different era,
again, all these things are what fucking fascinates.
And you're talking about
Friday.
And I'm sure. I mean, Gus is no longer alive, but I'm sure he's tapping into some old Gus stuff. Which, of course, like Gus came out of the Joe Frazier camp, which
again,
one of the best inside
I've
fighters.
Seen, it's like Rocky.
Yeah.
In Rocky 3, where he's like in a warehouse somewhere, like working out.
Now, do I think we're going to get like a full-on knockout? Probably not.
No.
But
this is probably going a while. It's an exhibition. But I hope...
I bet he could drop Paul to his knee at least once every round.
Yes.
If he gets in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, if he gets in there and really punches him in the, his thing right there, that head slams it under. The following segment has been brought to you by Whatever Lola Wants. Go to WLWPrivateChefs.com for information to reserve top quality chef and restaurant services in the Chicagoland area. The Sports Ball Podcast is a production of Pulpery Media, produced and edited by Ben Grimion, marketing by Brock Ryder, graphic design by Beck Ryder and Ben Grimion, music by the Heisenberg Compensators.